Just imagine you suddenly find yourself in a bizarre game show where you're getting a lot of money, but things aren't as simple as they seem. The story begins with a man named Jinsu, who is standing by a river, lost in thought about how messed up his life is. He wonders, what's the point of living like this? How did he end up in such a mess? Actually, one of Jinsu's friends had tricked him into a money-making scheme. Trusting his friend, Jinsu borrowed money and invested in the scheme. But within a few days, the friend stopped answering his calls. Now, working as a simple store clerk, it had become nearly impossible for Jinsu to repay the debt. He tried juggling multiple jobs at once, but even that didn't help. Every day, gangsters would show up at his home demanding money. To escape them, Jinsu snuck into a movie shoot and later found himself standing on a bridge, trying to figure out how to get out of this mess. Just then, he started receiving a flood of messages on his phone. These weren't ordinary messages. They were notifications that money had been credited to his bank account. The last message said that the money would keep coming, but only if he quietly got into a car that was parked right in front of him. As soon as Jinsu sat in the car, it took him to a theater where he received a red envelope containing some money and a few cards. There was also a note inside the envelope. Upon reading it, Jinsu realized that he had been pulled into a TV show called The 8 Show. He was told that he would be provided with food and lodging absolutely free, and that his money would keep increasing with every passing minute. The show would end either when time ran out or when one of the contestants died. After reading the envelope, Jinsu had two options: either take the money on the table and leave, or pick one of the numbered cards and join the show. After thinking about his debts for a few seconds, Jinsu picked card number 3 and entered the show. Inside, he found himself in a luxurious space with a 24-hour timer. Then he noticed 8 rooms along a staircase. He headed to the 3rd floor room, which he assumed was his. But when he got there, he was very disappointed because the room turned out to be fake. Except for a window and a camera, there was nothing in the room. Then Jinsu noticed a rule book lying there. It said that all contestants must immediately wear the game uniform and hand over all their personal belongings. They could purchase necessary items, but the cost would be deducted from their prize money. However, any items meant for use in the main room had to be requested through the main intercom. Contestants were also required to stay inside their rooms overnight, and breaking any of these rules would result in their prize money being cut in half. As soon as he finished reading the rules, Jinsu saw that he had only 1 minute left, so he quickly changed into the uniform. Once the game started, he noticed that with every passing minute, the amount of money on his scoreboard was increasing. This made him very happy, and his mind became consumed with calculating how long it would take him to repay his debt. After a while, he felt the need to use the bathroom, but then remembered that he wasn't allowed to leave the room at night. So he tried asking for help via the intercom, but no response came. Soon, he started to feel cold, so he decided to request a blanket. That's when he found out the cost of a blanket was 1,000,000 won. Shocked, Jinsu instead ordered a newspaper to sleep under and used a plastic bottle to relieve himself. The next morning, when he woke up, he saw that he had earned a decent amount of money. Then he heard another contestant's voice. When he stepped into the main room, he saw other contestants just like him. They all noticed the timer, which now showed 36 hours instead of the previous 24. They were still unsure how to order things properly, so contestant number 6 decided to test it by ordering cigarettes and a lighter. As soon as the order arrived, they noticed that time on the timer had decreased. That's when they realized that they could trade time in exchange for items. This meant the more items they ordered, the sooner their game time would end. After discussing it for a while, they decided to order only a few basic things: 8 plastic buckets, toilet paper, garbage bags, and cigarettes. After a while, everyone started feeling hungry. Sarah was surprised to hear this because 12 meals had already been delivered to her room earlier. That's when they all realized that all items were being delivered only to the upper floors, and contestants weren't allowed to leave their rooms with any items, so they had to use the lift to send items downstairs. After this, they all went to Sarah's room, which was quite luxurious. She had purchased a lot of things for herself because her payment rate was significantly higher. She earned a lot more money per minute than others. Everyone had a different rate, but the contestants on the lower floors were paid far less than those on the higher floors. In fact, when Sarah first arrived at the theater, she had unknowingly picked number 8. Then upon entering her room, she accidentally burned her dress with a cigarette. After that, she kept buying things until her scorecard hit 0. But because her rate was high, her scorecard quickly started increasing again. When she received food, she used all the water bottles for bathing. After seeing Sarah's room, the rest of them started visiting the other rooms one by one. Room number 1 was the smallest and belonged to a man named Sang-guk, who had chosen number 1 only because of an injury on his leg. Later, they used the lift to send food downstairs. While everyone was busy eating, Sarah Sarah was ordering different outfits for herself. Seeing her behavior, the others were unhappy, but she explained that they could actually increase their time again by repeatedly going up and down the stairs. Upon hearing this, they all started running up and down. Despite that, the timer eventually hit 0, but then suddenly it reset to 24 hours again. That night, everyone ordered a few basic essentials for themselves. Over the next few days, they kept running up and down, which left them extremely exhausted. Food was also running short, so they decided to divide into 2 groups. Now, only those who ran from top to bottom would get food that day. Due to his leg injury, Sung-gook wasn't able to run fast, so participant 6 forcibly grabbed his hand and dragged him along. Then, the second-floor contestant Chun-ja decided to run in his place. 2 days later, when it was Sung-gook's turn again, Jin-soo ran in his place instead. Seeing this, some of the others began saying that if Sung-gook wasn't contributing, he shouldn't be allowed to eat either. But Chun-ja completely disagreed. She felt that no one had the right to let a person go hungry. In the following days, everyone ordered a few items for their rooms, but trash also started piling up. Sang-gook, feeling guilty for not helping with the running, decided to keep all the garbage in his room. One day, a contestant named Phillips noticed that even after a lot of running, their timer wasn't increasing. Then Sarah announced that she would no longer participate in the running. She claimed that only the lower floor contestants were benefiting from shared time, and it wasn't her responsibility. Despite this, everyone kept running for hours, but the timer didn't increase much. Still, some contestants hoped their efforts would reflect in the timer soon, so they went to sleep feeling a bit reassured. But the next morning when they woke up, they saw that very little time was left on the timer. In a panic, they started running again. Suddenly, a contestant named Kim suffered a seizure and collapsed to the floor. Seeing her condition, Moon, the 5th floor contestant who was a nurse in real life, immediately requested medicine. As Chun-ja stepped forward to order the medicine, participant 6 stopped her, saying that it was just a seizure. Kim wasn't going to die. He argued that they shouldn't lose time over it, and that ordering medicine would reduce their time even more. The argument escalated into a physical fight. Trying to stop the chaos, Jin-soo finally placed the order for the medicine. Right then, Sarah pointed to the timer, which had jumped up to 40 hours. After the medicine arrived, everyone noticed the camera in the room and realized that someone was watching their fight for entertainment. That was why the timer increased. Phillips, before choosing room number 7, had taken a long time to think. Once in his room, he had ordered a notebook and pen to document everything about the show. Now, they all understood. To gain more hours, they had to entertain the viewers. Once they realized this, they began planning. They decided to put on a talent show. Phillips started it by playing a tune with his nose. In return, they received 20 hours on the timer. Seeing the idea worked, they decided that the next day, everyone would showcase their talents. They also began wondering how many days they would have to stay in this show. The decision was left to Sang-gook, as he was the one earning the least among them. He responded by saying he needed 2 billion, which meant they would all have to stay there for 70 days. That night, before going to bed, everyone ordered items to prepare for the talent show. The next day, the talent show began. Moon sang a song and earned 15 hours. Participant number 6 broke some bricks and earned 20 hours. Chun-ja performed some martial arts moves and earned 25 hours, but injured her hand in the process. Kim and Jin-soo didn't earn much, but Sang-gu dressed up as a clown and earned 40 hours. When it was Sarah's turn, she said her talent was a bit 18+, and participant number 6 assisted her in this. Together, they earned 69 hours. The next morning, Sang-gook declared that no more trash would be stored in her room since no one was running anymore, and they were now earning hours through other means. After a long argument, the group decided to hold a vote the next day. After spending the day thinking, they voted, and Sarah got the most votes. At first, she pretended to accept the decision, but in the very next moment, she locked herself in her room. The next day, she didn't send food to anyone. Because of this, everyone went hungry, and frustration began to grow. Seeing this, Kim and Jin-soo, who had earned the least hours in the talent show, agreed to store the trash in their rooms instead. When Phillips told Sarah about this, she agreed to give them food only if they used their shared time to buy her some clothes. Soon after, Sarah suggested they play a new game, the King game. They wrote numbers on 7 balls and the letter K on 1. Whoever got the K would be king and could dare anyone to do anything. The game began, and they started daring each other, but it didn't really add much to their timer, so they decided to make the dares more extreme for better entertainment. When it was Sarah's turn, she dared Chun-ja and participant 6 to fight each other. A brutal fight followed. Because of her injured hand, Chunja struggled, and participant 6 took advantage, beating her up badly. He didn't stop until others intervened, but this earned them 50 hours, proving violence worked for ratings. Now many were worried about their safety. Sarah then suggested that anyone could refuse a dare, but the punishment would be an electric shock from a taser. She reassured them it won't kill anyone. The next day they played again. Sarah was king once more, and dared Jinsu to put his hand under Moon's shirt. But seeing Moon's discomfort, Jinsu refused. As punishment, he received a taser shock so intense he fainted and wet his pants. But they earned 60 hours from it. Continuing the game, Kim one day flipped a coin and made participant 6, and Chunja guessed the result. The loser would be tased. Chunja lost, and she ended up like Jinsu. This pattern continued for several days. Then one day, Sanguk revealed to Chunja and Jinsu that the people on the upper floors were rigging the game against them. He said Kim would often cover the coin after tossing it, manipulating the outcome. They informed Phillips, who advised them to gather evidence. Later, Phillips caught Kim tampering with the balls too. He warned her to play smart going forward. The next day, Sanguk became the king for the first time. He told Kim to toss the coin without covering it. This time, Sarah was the one who had to be tased. But before that could happen, participant 6 suddenly attacked Phillips from behind. When Phillips regained consciousness, he found himself in Sarah's room. Participant 6 praised him for being smart and proposed that they form a team. Phillips had no other choice. Participant 6 now held a powerful taser. After that, participant 6 locked the main intercom and broke all the intercoms on the lower floors. So now everything would happen according to his and Sarah's will. Then they announced that only contestants on the lower floor would work from now on, and if they refused, they would not be given food. However, if they managed to earn time, they would be given coins in return. One coin was equivalent to 3 hours, and they could use it to buy things for themselves. When Chunja tried to oppose this decision, participant number 6 pointed the taser at her. Seeing this, Sanguk tried to attack 6, but 6 kicked him and gave her Chunja a taser shock too. Then he stepped on Sanguk's injured leg, crushing it further. This brutal act earned them more hours. After that, Phillips told them about the next game. Balls had the names of different games written on them. The lower floor contestants would pick one randomly and play that game, and the loser would be punished. On the first day, the ball revealed a game of hide and seek. But in this version, each lower floor participant had one body part covered, making it difficult for them to hide. The upper floor member's job was to find and beat them. During the game, Chunja encountered participant number 6, who started beating her ruthlessly. But Phillips appeared just in time and saved her. When the game ended, Jinsu was declared the winner. He had to blindfold himself and hit one teammate with a bat. Sadly, he hit Sanguk. This disgusting entertainment earned them 27 hours, equal to 9 coins. But to actually receive the coins, everyone on the lower floor had to write on slips of paper how many coins they wanted. If the total exceeded 9, no one would get anything. Fortunately, most wrote 2 coins each. But Jinsu only asked for 1, so he ended up sleeping with just water for dinner. The next day, Sarah invented another harsh game, at the end of which Jinsu got punished. This time, the total time earned was just 10 hours, so they got nothing in return. Due to these constant cruel games, everyone's health and mental condition began to deteriorate. That's when Sanguk slipped a note into Chunja and Jinsu's pockets, asking them to come to her room through the delivery lift. During the game that day, Sanguk faked a stomachache, which was a signal to the others. That same day, Jinsu and Chunja quietly hid in the lift. As per the plan, Sanguk started screaming loudly for help, prompting the upper floor contestants to rush toward his room. But as they arrived, a major fight broke out between participant 6 and the others. Just as Jinsu tried to escape, Sarah pointed her taser at him, but Phillips revealed that he had already removed the battery from the taser. Realizing this, Chunja punched 6 in the face and knocked him out in a single blow. After that, they tied up all the upper floor contestants, and Phillips, realizing he was wrong, began apologizing. As a result, the lower floor contestants spared him, and their rebellion earned them a lot of hours because viewers found it thrilling. They decided to tie up all the contestants in their rooms and use the 8th floor as a common space. That very night, Chunja proposed ending the show, even offering to cover the remaining amount of Sanguk's $2 billion from her own prize money. So they stopped competing and focused only on resting. When only 9 hours remained. Everyone said their goodbyes and went into their rooms. But then late at night, their timers suddenly started increasing rapidly. They searched all the prisoners but didn't find anything suspicious. However, soon after, their timer suddenly dropped from 30 to 50 hours. And just then, they heard Kim screaming. By the time they reached her, someone had knocked out one of her teeth. Jinsu, alarmed, ran to participant 6 and upon removing his shoes, discovered that all his toenails had been ripped out. When Chunja asked him why he didn't tell anyone, 6 told her to ask that question to her own friends. This made Chunja suspicious of everyone, and she locked Jinsu, Phillips, and Sang-guk in their rooms, telling them they'd still get food but must stay inside. She left only Moon outside. But the game had deeply affected Moon's mental state, and now she was seeing strange hallucinations. In one of these, she thought Sarah and Jung had escaped, so she ran to tell 6 the good news. 6 began manipulating her and convinced Moon to free him. After being released, he freed his teammates and launched a brutal attack on the others. He even bought a gun, and then he lined everyone up and asked, "Who pulled out my nails?" When no one responded, he decided to play a game. First, he tried to shoot Chunja, but when the gun didn't fire, he started beating her savagely. Then he shot Phillips in the leg and moved towards Sang-guk. At that moment, Jinsu had an idea and suggested, "Why don't we buy the camera footage? It'll show who really did it." As soon as they heard that, Sarah and 6 purchased the footage. What they saw shocked everyone. It was Sang-guk who had ripped out 6's toenails and urinated on his face as revenge. After watching this, 6 was now determined to kill Sang-guk, but Sarah wasn't ready to end the game yet, so she shocked 6 with a taser, knocking him unconscious. After that, Sarah locked all the contestants in their rooms. The truth was, Sarah had grown obsessed with this place and never wanted to leave. For her entertainment, she bought camera footage from everyone's rooms, finding joy in watching them suffer. A few days later, she realized they had already tortured the contestants in every possible way, so if they were to earn more hours, they needed to try something different. So she came up with sleep deprivation torture. Jinsu, Philip, Chunja, and Sang-guk were tied to chairs with water constantly filled around their faces, making it impossible to sleep. At the same time, they were forced to watch violent videos all day, severely impacting their physical and mental health. Sarah had now completely lost it. She would laugh, cry, and stare at them the entire day. Outside this place, Sang-guk worked as a clown and needed money for his sick daughter's treatment. When he couldn't gather enough funds, he had planned to end his life with an insurance policy, but before he could, a white van picked him up and brought him here. Due to a leg injury, he had chosen the first floor, but when he requested to change rooms via intercom, he was told it would cost $1 billion, and that's when he began his mission to earn that amount. Meanwhile, Jinsu's condition had severely deteriorated, and he was hallucinating, but Kim snapped him out of it and told him that Sang-guk had a plan to take down Sarah. By now, Sarah had become a full-blown psychopath. She didn't even sleep anymore. The only time she was vulnerable was after playing golf and before showering, when she didn't carry her gun. But the plan posed the greatest risk to Kim's life, so she insisted on choosing her room first, to which everyone agreed immediately. Moon had one condition, but Jung accepted it without even hearing, determined to strip Sarah of her power. The next day, Sarah came down to play golf, and Jung appeared unusually excited. Sarah wasn't very interested, but she was somehow convinced to play. Meanwhile, Moon had freed all the others, but after being tied up for so long, it was very difficult for them to even move around. The commotion made Sarah's dog bark constantly, alerting her. She immediately went to investigate. Jinsu and Moon, trying to hide from Sarah, rushed into the 6th floor, where they were spotted by participant 6, who started screaming loudly. Sarah prepared her gun, and just as she was about to shoot them, Kim attacked her from behind. After finally capturing Sarah, everyone began crying with relief, knowing they were finally free. It was Sang-guk's turn. He immediately made a room change request via intercom. Soon an envelope appeared with the instructions on how to change rooms, and the price of the envelope itself was 1 billion. Each room had its own price, and the price of the 8th room was 340 billion. Upon hearing this, everyone started crying. After the 1 billion shock in the game, Sang-guk announced that he wasn't going anywhere without money for his daughter, so he tied everyone to chairs. Meanwhile, Sarah, who had fallen on the ground, was laughing as she saw all of this. After tying everyone down, Sang-guk climbed a rope to earn more hours. Just as he was about to cross the rope, his foot slipped, but he somehow managed to hold on, earning several hours in the process. Seeing this, everyone realized he was doing this on purpose. Afterwards, Sang-guk took a huge leap towards his next task, which led him to a camera. But as soon as he grabbed the camera, it fell with him. Upon hitting the ground, the camera caught fire, and within seconds, Sang-guk also fell into the flames. Everyone else was tied to their chairs, so they couldn't do anything to help. Despite that, Philip, Chunja, and Jinsu managed to free themselves and rush to help Sang-guk. By the time they reached him, he was already severely injured, so Moon immediately suggested taking him to the hospital. They tried to get help, but instead of receiving assistance, their hours kept increasing. Seeing this, Jinsu thought maybe it was time to stop the entertainment, so he and Chunja began breaking all the cameras. As soon as they broke the last camera in the lift, the door immediately opened, but by then it was too late, and Sang-guk passed away right there. According to Sarah, this was the perfect ending. As Jinsu stepped outside, he could hear the applause of an audience, but it turned out to be just a recording. Along with it, they found a note saying their money would soon be credited to their accounts. After leaving the place, it was revealed that they had actually been trapped in the game show for 2 months. And with that, the story comes to an end. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe.